if you want to make a watermelon keychain just like this, just keep on watching.
Hi crochet friends, it's summer and I have watermelon on the mind, so I changed up my taco keychain pattern for a watermelon slice, and I would love to show you how to make one too, so let's get right into it. First, you're going to need yarn, not a whole lot, red, white, and green. And then I like to use a D hook, which is 3.25 millimeters. Because they're so small, I made mine a handle out of polymer clay. All right, and then you will also need scissors, a yarn needle, and if you want to make yours a keychain, a keychain. I buy these in bulk off of Amazon. All right, so let's get started from here. We are going to start off with red and work in a magic circle. Now, I do have another video that shows how to do this that I will link here. But here is just a quick magic circle, cross over, push through the back, and then pinch that loop, and that's where you'll start if you have not done magic circle before. All right, so from here, I will chain one, and to get started, I'm going to do 6 single crochet inside the circle. 1, 2, 3, pull on your tail so you don't lose it, 4, 5, and 6. All right, and then I'm going to pull this tail tight to close the circle. But not too tight to break it. But we don't want any hole in the middle. Okay, so now we're going to increase all the way around to make 12 stitches. So it's sometimes a little hard to work it into that first one. There we go. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And then the next row, I'm going to increase in every other stitch, making 18 stitches total. This is just a standard increase. So I'm going to do 1, increase, 2, 3, 4, increase here, 5, 6, 7, increase here for 8, 9, stitch 10, increase here for 11, 12, 13, increase here, 14, 15, 16, increase here, 17, and 18. Okay, so here's my third row. Now we're going to do one more row of red. This one you're going to do 2 stitches and then an increase. You're going to end up with 24 stitches in the round. You can place a stitch marker if that helps you. I just like to count. All right, so I'm going to do 1, 2, and then an increase all the way around. 1, 2, increase here, 3, 4, 5, 6, increase here, 7 and 8, 9, 10, increase here, 11, and 12, 13, 14, increase here, 15, 16, 17, 18, increase here, 19, 20, 21, 22, last increase, 23, 24. All right, this is all for the red. And now I'm going to trim this with a small tail for weaving in this end piece to make it a little bit smooth here. This is something else that I show in another video in more detail, one of my finishings videos. All right, so to make this a smooth edge, I've pulled this all the way through its stitch, and I'm going to sew it not into this stitch, but this next stitch. We're going to make almost like a half stitch on top of this. So it's going to go in this front piece of that skip after a skipped stitch. And then we're going to go back in where it came from. To make it look a little bit more smooth. And then you can kind of just weave it in a little bit in the back to get it out of your way. And then we don't need that anymore, and we can even trim these so that they're not a bother and that they don't take up any space when we fold this. All right, so there's the red part of your watermelon. Now we're going to add on the green. All right, so we're going to do one round of the green, and this row is going to increase after 3 stitches. It'll go 3 stitches, increase. So it'll be a total of 30 stitches around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this little slip knot here, wrap it around my finger, kind of like doing the magic ring, but I just pull it through tight. And then I'm going to put that on my hook, pull it a little tighter, but not too tight because I need to be able to get it off. And I am going to start a new row on here, but I'm going to start it with a single crochet. So I'm going to pick not the stitch where I finished it, but a little over from there. So I'm just going to pick a stitch. It does not matter. Okay. And then I'm just going to pull a stitch up. Here, let me show that again. I insert this through the stitch that I'm going to start in with this loop on this side of it. And then I pull it through to do my single crochet. I'm going to move this out of my way here. All right. So that's my 1. So I'm going to go 2, 3, and then there's where I increase. 4 and 5. So all your increases will be on your multiples of 5 this round. 6, 7, 8, and then I do my increase for 9 and 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, here's my increase, 16, 17, 18, now increase 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, increase here, 24, 25, Then I go 26, 27, 28, and then my last increase right here in this last stitch, 29 and 30. Okay, and just like the other one, we are going to cut a tail and pull it all the way through, but for this one I want to leave a longer tail because I'm going to use that tail to sew this shut, but also to sew it onto my keychain. So I want to make sure that I have enough length to go around and be a keychain. Okay, so that part is finished. All right, so I'm going to leave that green tail be for a while. If you'd like, you can trim this one to keep it out of your way so it's just not there to confuse you or bother you at all. All right, so there is that part. Now I need to do my white. Now with the white, what I'm going to do is slip stitch on the surface. So I'm going to do another of my slip knots here, and I'm going to pick the same spot where I've come up with this green here to be my seam, so that when this is folded in half, it's kind of hidden on this edge, not blatantly glaring at you from the middle. It hides it a little bit better. So I'm going to stick my hook right here and pick up this white on the other side, tighten it a little but not all the way, and pull it through so that I can surface stitch in all the green stitch bases around. So I will stick my hook in this next green stitch, pull white through, and slip. I'm going to do that all the way around. Put it in the green and slip up through. Make sure not to work too tight. It just makes it difficult on you to pull it through each time. So we're just going to keep going around. Insert, pull, pull. Insert, pull, pull. All the way around. Last one, making sure to not go over my green tail here. My last slip, I'm also going to trim and pull all the way through, enough to stitch a little bit. All right, so I did my last slip. I'm going to pull that through. All right. Now we're done with the crocheting and it's time to sew. First, I'm going to finish my white. So I'll thread my needle. Got lucky the first try. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically make a fake slip stitch using this tail. So I'm going to go next to this one. To insert. Then I'm going to come back on the other side of it. This may take a little bit of finagling here to get it exactly where you want it. Okay. Pull that through, and then it goes back in this hole where it came out, into the center of this last slip stitch that you made to make a fake slip stitch and finish the row. Okay, and then this one, because this is the back and it's going to be hidden, folded in half, I'm just going to tie these off, just a couple knots, nothing special, and then trim it so that it's out of the way. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and sew the green part to finish that. So again, I'm going to make a fake stitch. I'm going to go in under both of these loops. Oh, I missed one. Both of the loops there to pull it through. And then I'm going to go back through that same hole to make a fake stitch to hide it. All right, now this is finished for now, this green part. I will use this again later. Now I need a little bit of black, just a tiny bit, because we're going to sew on the seeds. This is a very unscientific, do it how you want it sewing. I like to have 3 seeds on each side. So I look at my cat fur stuck in here. I look at where my side is, so it's going to be folded in half here. And I try to have 3 evenly spaced on this side and 3 evenly spaced on this side. And I like to sew them into this 3rd row so that there's some space in between the white and the center. So I'm just going to take my yarn with my black, insert it where I want it. Just don't pull it through all the way. You can put your finger on it. We'll tie this off later. And then just go back in, just 1 stitch down. And then I'm going to pop it back up. Yeah, it looks about centered. And back down. And then I'm going to do 1 more. Up and down. All right, so that's 3 on this first side. And then I'll turn it so I can do the other side. Again, going in this 3rd row here. Just in and out. In and out. And 1 more. And it really doesn't matter that I don't have much tail left because I'm just going to tie it off now. So I take the first tail and the last tail, and I'm going to just tie them together like I did the whites. Just a couple knots. And trim to keep it tidy and not too bulky. All right. So that piece is done. We've got a flat slice. So I'm going to rethread this green. And I'm going to fold this watermelon slice in half like a taco. So this is my side. Fold it in half. And sew my greens together. So I'm just going to sew into, like, underneath this row of the tops of these stitches, so it kind of hides it. So I'm going under here on both sides. Make sure it's not out of focus. It likes to focus on background things. Here we go. I'm just going to go back and forth, just zigzag stitches underneath the loops of that last row of single crochet in green. Back and forth all the way across. Stay in focus. All right, almost there. Just a couple more stitches and we will grab our keychain. Okay, so now it's sewn all the way across. If you just want it to be a tiny little watermelon slice, I would tie a knot with this green and be done. And hide it inside. Just zigzag it across a couple times coming out in the green, which I'll show in a minute. But if you want it to be a keychain like I do, you're going to grab your keychain. You can sew directly onto a ring if you want to. I like to use this chain, or you could use just this loop and take this chain off. That's up to you and what look you're going for. Sew it on here, just through this last loop. And then I'm going to go back through here a whole bunch of times. I'm just going to keep going back through this loop and through this bottom chain of the keychain. Basically until I feel like it's secure. I find it helpful to have my finger through the keychain to hold it tight and out of the way while I'm sewing. It's starting to get tight getting my yarn through the keychain, so I will do just one more. See if I can push my needle through there one more time. Maybe. All right, that was the last one. And I'm going to tie a knot with it right here. I'm just going to insert this underneath one of my stitches here, if I can get it through. There we go. To make a knot. Pull it up tight. And then I'm going to hide this yarn tail and make it a little more secure by inserting it through the green back and forth a few times. So I'm inserting it through the green, pulling it all the way out. Then I'm going to insert it again, pull it back this way. And I'll do one more just because. Okay, pull that tight to hide that. Okay, and then I'll trim. And there is a watermelon keychain. I would love to see yours. If you make these with me, please tag me on Instagram or Facebook or anywhere. I am at Green Hook Studio. Happy making, and thanks for crocheting with me.